Welcome everybody to the 112th episode of the Geek Dad Report, the one show dedicated, formulated, specially created, and bringing you guys all the pop culture and nerd news you need to know for the week that was, and hopefully I'm going to put a little smile on your face while I do it. As always, I'm Brian West, the host with the mostest, and as you can tell, Ryan Tomlinson, my lovely co-host, is not here tonight. He is still moving. That guy's a terrible mover. It takes forever. Usually it takes me like a day to move. Ryan, it's like 2 months apparently. Actually, his big issue right now is that he does not have the wonderful sorcery that is the internet. So he cannot hop on an internet call if he does not have the internet. Now can he? Anyway, he will not be joining us. He was very sad. He sent me a little video of he's crying, like he's just sobbing. Honestly, it was kind of embarrassing. I was like, dude, stop it. Stop it. It's just a couple weeks. Everyone has not moved on from you, even though you guys, I know you have. But let's tell him that you guys haven't moved on and that you guys are all excited for him to come back next week. Because, frankly, considering how sad he was on the video, I don't know what he would do if he knew that we were moving on. All right, so let's just keep that our little Geek Dad Report secret. That it's going to be the Geek Dad solo report from now on. No, I'm just kidding. Ryan did wish he could be here, but alas, he could not be. So we're going to move on without him, and we're gonna make this the fat-free edition of the show. Basically, what that means is we're cutting out all the fat. And when I say fat, I don't mean Ryan because we cut him out of the show. I mean like all the extra stuff where I just ramble on for hours on end. I'm not going to do that tonight. I mean, I'm probably totally going to do that tonight, but I'm going to try and not do that tonight. And that is really what's important here. As long as I try hard and do my best, we all come out winners. All right, so that's what this, I don't know. Is that what the moral of the story is? Sure, we're going to go with that. Basically, I'm going to try and keep this a little short episode because anybody who doesn't know right now, I live in Washington, and the whole fucking state is on fire. I mean, literally, if I show you a picture out the window, you see Satan out there with the pitchfork just wrangling up souls because everything's on fire. And it's kind of terrifying. There's like ash everywhere. We got blood moons. Like the sun is like this weird orange glowing thing. It's crazy. I mean, I know we have hurricanes going down south, which is awful. But, think about us up here in the Northwest too, because we are all on fire. Where I live, there's actually no actual fires within probably like a 15-mile radius. So my house is not going to burn down, so I know you guys were very concerned about that, so thank you for your concern. But what we are getting here is a ton of ash and a ton of smoke in the air, which is actually causing my sinuses to explode. My throat's been freaking raw all week. So anyway, I guess that's my long-winded way of saying I'm going to try and keep the show a little bit short than today. Yeah, right, me keeping it short. I know you guys are laughing. So stop laughing and just listen. So we're going to dive right into the news, and fat-free edition. Fat-free. And just in case you were wondering, Ryan, we are talking about you. Cutting you out. You're gone. Just kidding. All right, moving on. All right, Ninja News, guys. We have a lot of news this week. We got a couple of really big stories, so we're going to dive right into them. First up is Colin Trevorrow, the director of Jurassic World, who was going to be the upcoming director of Episode 9 of Star Wars, is out. He's gone. He's done. Finite. He's no longer going to be directing it, which actually I, for one, am not that sad about. Jurassic World, for all of the fun that it was, there were some really big plot holes in that movie. And I wasn't really that excited about him taking over a Star Wars movie. And then, apparently neither was Disney. This all seems to stem, his last movie that just came out, Colin Trevorrow, I believe is his real name here. So the last movie he did was called The Book of Henry, and it was like, he wrote it, he directed it, this was all him, and it was apparently really bad. Like, not just bad, like it was a bad movie, like it was poorly put together. Like, the pacing was weird. There was parts of the movie that were just missing. It didn't make sense. And this was a movie that he completely did himself and then submitted it, and they gave him complete control over it. And apparently it was just a disaster. And so rumor is that began to make Disney a little worried, considering they'd already had to fire Josh Trank for his meltdown on Fantastic Four. They just recently had to, let go of Lord and Miller from the Han Solo movie due to creative differences. Apparently they started really tightening in Colin. He'd submitted multiple drafts of a script and it wasn't working. And anyway, they'd had it. They brought him in. They could not get to see eye to eye, so Colin stepped down. So he is out. So yet another director for a Star Wars movie is gone. So I thought it'd be fun to let you guys know, since I know you were all asking at home. I know you guys are like, Brian, who do you think would be a great director? All right, I know none of you have voices like that, but I just don't know how to do an audience voice. So if you guys have a better suggestion for an audience voice, I'm all ears. But anyway, for now, you guys are going to be the, Brian, what are we going to do? Oh my God, woo, who's going to direct? Well, luckily for you guys, I have 6 candidates. Boom, this many. That I believe would be fantastic fill-ins. And actually, surprise 7. So, fill-in directors for episode 9. Who would I like to see? So, first up, you know what I'd like to see? Steven Spielberg. We were teased forever that Steven Spielberg may direct a Star Wars movie. George Lucas used to joke all the time that he wanted Spielberg to do one. Spielberg most notably directed the Emperor Palpatine and Yoda fight scene in Revenge of the Sith. So, if you guys didn't know that, there you go. That's why you listen to this show and pay attention. Because you learn things like that. Now, you guys can go to your water cooler. We haven't talked about the water cooler in a while. You go to water cooler and that jackass Bob's over there just running his mouth like Bob always does about shit he doesn't know about. And you can be like, oh yeah, Bob? Oh yeah? Who directed the Palpatine Yoda fight scene in Revenge of the Sith? And then when he says, I don't know, George Lucas, you slap him across his stupid face and you say, no, Bob, you idiot. Steven Spielberg did. And you know what? Brian West thinks that he should be in the running for episode 9 of the new Star Wars movie. Boom. You're probably going to immediately get fired for that. But you know what? It'd be worth it. Everybody knows. Everybody hates Bob in the office. Nobody likes that guy. Nobody. I mean, you tell me one person who likes Bob. Brenda in accounting? She doesn't count. Who cares about her? She likes Bob because she's married to Bob. She has to like Bob. Nobody else likes Bob. You can take that to the bank. Anyway, Steven Spielberg, what was I talking about? Yeah, there we go. I think he'd be a great director. He's obviously done some amazing sci-fi movies in the past. It'd be great to see his version of a Star Wars movie. My only thing is I doubt Disney's going to give him complete creative control, which is what Spielberg's used to. And the fact that he has, maybe his movies have seen better days, and it's been a while since he's made a huge hit that does go against him. But tell me you guys are not a little excited about a Steven Spielberg Star Wars movie. All right, next up, my next director that I would like to see do it is Edgar Wright. He did the Coronado trilogy, which Shaun of the Dead, oh God, I don't know. Anyway, there's 3 movies. Start with Shaun of the Dead. It's about a bunch of English dudes. Hot Fuzz. I don't remember the last one. I think it's the World's End. I think it's the bar. It's the bar hopping movie. Anyway, they're all great movies. That's the point. Who cares if I can remember exactly what all the names of them are? Whatever. Anyway, he's a very talented director. He just most notably did Baby Driver. He was on board to do the Ant-Man movie for a long time until him and Marvel butted heads. But that was maybe it was pre-Disney. I don't know. But anyway, I would love to see him tackle a Star Wars movie. He did Scott Pilgrim versus the World. That is a great movie. He does so many different genres. I think he'd be a fantastic director in a true sci-fi movie. And I would love to see what he could do with a Star Wars movie. The downside with him is, once again, he is he's a director who likes creative control, and I do not think right now Star Wars movies are giving creative controls to people, but I would like to see Edgar Wright. Another name I would like to see on this list is, another name I'd like to see, hopefully get this, is the Russo brothers from, they're currently directing Avengers. Now, I do not think this will happen because I believe they're directing the next 17 Avengers movies, and Disney has purchased all of their time for the next 20 years. But, hey, you're already working for Disney. Why not scoot over? As you could tell in Captain America the Winter Soldier and Captain America Civil War, these 2 dudes are up for the job. They make fantastic movies, and I would love to see what they could do with the Star Wars movie. But like I said, they are doing the next 2 Avenger movies, so I don't know how much time they have. The next 2 names on my list apparently are the frontrunners right now to actually land this job. So one is Rian Johnson. He's currently doing The Last Jedi. Early reviews, I guess. I don't know. People have seen parts of the movie. Everyone's saying it's great, that Rian Johnson did a great job. Everybody works with him, says he's a visionary director. All accounts, everything we're hearing about The Last Jedi is all really good. So why not just keep him on board? He's already written the story for The Last Jedi. He had control on that one. It worked well. Why not just move him into whatever episode 9 is? Be a seamless transition. And if he really is that good of a director, and he really did make that great of a Star Wars movie, why not keep him on board and let him finish the trilogy? I would totally be on board for that. And lastly, well, not lastly, but the other name that's already tied to being a frontrunner is apparently J.J. Abrams. Rumor is Disney was talking to him about possibly coming back and finishing the trilogy. Now, he did The Force Awakens, which most of us, for the most part, can all agree was a fantastic movie. I know there's a few people who didn't quite like everything about it, but hey, they're wrong. That movie is fantastic. Why not bring J.J. Abrams to finish it out? He did a great job relaunching the whole thing. Why not give him a crack and letting him finish it? So, just an idea there. But the last name on my, well, there's a surprise name, but the last name I put on my list is actually who I'd really like to see direct this, honestly. Patty Jenkins, who just did the Wonder Woman movie, which is one of my favorite comic book movies pretty much of all time. Great movie, unbelievable director, had some things I have yet to see in a comic book movie, even though I've seen 40 comic book movies at this point. But she did a fantastic job, and I think she did amazing things with the Star Wars movie. Plus, Warner Brothers has yet to secure her contract for Wonder Woman 2. So, hey, Patty, you start talking to Disney, you start getting bored with their Star Wars movies. Maybe they bring you over for maybe they bring you over for a Marvel movie. You could really drive up your price for Wonder Woman 2. But anyway, I think Patty Jenkins would be an amazing choice for a Star Wars movie. Plus, we've long heard that they are trying to find a female director who would love to direct one of these, and Patty Jenkins has proven with Wonder Woman that she is more than capable of taking a big movie and turning it into a blockbuster hit. So I would like to see that. And finally, my last surprise name, who's not even on my list of my notes here, is George Lucas. Bring back George. Yeah, I know, you're all laughing, but George Lucas always said he wanted to direct the final movie in his Star Wars franchise. Now, I know there's zero chance in hell, and honestly, I don't even want George Lucas back because, come on, you saw the prequels. We don't want George Lucas back, let's be real. I mean, Star Wars is great, and the prequels had their moments, but overall, not good. Do not want him back. But hey, why not? What do you guys think? My list of 7 names, including old George himself, old neckbeard himself. I'd like to hear what you guys think. Who do you guys think would be a great director for episode 9? One of the people I picked, or possibly somebody different? So hit me up in the comments, or on any of our social platforms. I'd love to hear you guys' answer. Speaking of Star Wars Episode 8, things are moving right along. We have less than 100 days before it hits theaters in December, and I am just counting down the days. I mean, I'm just like, cannot wait till The Last Jedi. We just fast forward. I mean, I have a trip to Disneyland coming up, but other than that, we can just skip everything else and send me right to December because I am ready for The Last Jedi. Speaking of which, when I go to Disneyland, I'm going to get some sweet merchandise, and you guys are going to see it on the show. I might even buy something that I can give away to you guys, but I'm really excited for Star Wars. That being said, so there's always been a lot of questions surrounding the title of The Last Jedi. Do they mean Rey? Does that mean Luke? Does that mean, Jedi is actually singular and plural at the same time? Does it mean both of them? What does it mean? Personally, I always just assumed it meant Luke Skywalker, the Last Jedi, because he's the Jedi. I mean, Rey's not a Jedi. Kylo's not a Jedi. Luke is the only Jedi in this whole freaking trilogy. And, apparently I was right. Rian Johnson was talking on an interview to New York Times, and he said that he did confirm that The Last Jedi does mean Luke Skywalker, and anybody who felt that was a spoiler, he was like, hey, in the scroll for The Force Awakens, it says right in the title, intro, they are looking for The Last Jedi, Luke Skywalker. So he always didn't think it was that big of a secret and kind of laughed the fact that it was such a big deal between all the fans desperately trying to figure it out. But anyway, put your mind at ease, everybody. The Last Jedi is Luke Skywalker. Speculate all day long on what that means for the movie. I think it doesn't really mean much of anything. I've always thought that Rey is more of a gray Jedi and that the series is moving much more into embracing a neutral aspect of the Force versus a light and dark side of the Force. But no, that's just me. Let's see what else we got here. We got a little more Star Wars news for you guys before we move on. So Captain Phasma, might have noticed her. Big shiny bucket head she wore. She was the captain of the First Order of Stormtroopers. A nice shiny outfit. Got thrown into a trash compactor at the end of Force Awakens. Spoiler alert. Apparently she didn't die. Also, spoiler alert. We've seen her in the trailers. But they just released her solo comic book. And in that comic book, it tells her escape from the trash compactor. So if you guys would like to know, I'm gonna spoil it for you. So if you want to know, skip ahead about 2 minutes. Starting in 3, 2, 1. It's all luck. She escapes the trash compactor because when Poe Dameron and his squad are doing their bombing runs on Starkiller Base, something blows up and blows a hole in the trash compactor, so she escapes. And then she immediately goes to the records and erases her name from the logs showing that she was the one who, in fact, dropped the shields, and she blamed another commander who apparently gets choked out by Kylo later. She's not a very nice person. And then she does some other stuff. But if you want to check it out, she has her own novel out right now, which apparently is pretty good. I haven't read it. And her comic book series is just, the first issue has just dropped from Marvel. I want to say it's like a 4-issue run, but don't quote me on that because I actually don't know for a fact. But I do know for a fact the first one is out, and you should check it out because it's Star Wars. They make good comic books. Let's see here. What else? Is that it for Star Wars? That is it for Star Wars news. Only I can be surprised. I got freaking notes right in front of me, and I'm like, I'm surprised. Oh my god. Whatever. This is what happens when I'm by myself. I feel like I'm doing pretty good, though. I'm doing better than I did last week. Last week, man, I was just rambling. By the end, my throat hurt. Ryan was making fun of me this week. What a jerk. So if you guys want to email Ryan, who ditched me last week and left me hanging like mere hours before the show aired, then this week he's sending me, he's like, hey, I watched the show. You sure ramble a lot. You don't seem to know what you're doing. You know, screw you, Ryan. I'd like to see you try this. Ever. Anyway, sorry, I was just stalling to get my bearings back and look at my notes over. Next up, you know who else isn't? Well, okay, that was a terrible transition. You know who's not stalling? There we go. Disney films. They've already announced Indiana Jones 5 is coming out, and Mutt Williams, Shia LaBeouf's character, is not coming back. Whew, thank God. Now, I didn't mind him terribly in the movie, but in hindsight, he was really kind of an obnoxious character that did not really fit in the Indiana Jones universe. But the writer for Indy 5, David Kopp, probably butchering his name, he said that, yeah, the final, well, the main working screenplay that they're going with, story, does not have him in it, and he will, in fact, not be returning. So, hey, I think universally, everyone's pretty excited about that. If you are a giant Mutt Williams fan and feel that Indiana Jones is going in the wrong direction, please feel free to let us know. I'm pretty sure you will be alone, but we'd love to hear your reasoning why Shia LaBeouf should come back. Disney, something else that Disney is taking away from us is, well, that was a bad thing, or a good thing they're taking away from us. Now they're taking a bad thing away from us. So apparently Netflix is going to, in fact, lose all of their Marvel and Star Wars properties. In fact, we announced, we reported a couple weeks ago that Netflix was going to be losing all the Disney animated stuff because Disney's launching their own streaming service sometime in 2019. But that Netflix had tried to work out a deal where they could keep Marvel and Star Wars properties because everybody watches them and they're huge money getters for Netflix. Apparently Disney also realized that they are huge money getters and said, no, we're going to take them back. So starting 2019, when Disney launches their own subscription service, it will be Pixar, everything animated that Disney's ever done, their entire back catalog, and Marvel and Star Wars. So it looks like this is going to be something that we are all going to be springing for because it is going to have a ton of content that we and our children want to watch. So get ready to pony up for probably another $10-15 a month because the new Disney streaming service is coming, and it's coming fully loaded. So hopefully Netflix has plenty of things to keep them going in the future. No word yet on the Marvel shows. I believe those are co-produced with Netflix. So like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, I think those will probably stay on Netflix. But I'm guessing Disney probably has a whole bunch of new Marvel shows in the works, and probably the long-rumored live-action Star Wars show that will be streaming on their service. One show that Marvel does have right now that they probably would gladly give to Netflix is the Inhumans. It just got released in IMAX, and it has absolutely tanked. It made only $1.5 million, which, is not a ton of money. I mean, this was never going to make a ton of money in the first place, just because everybody knows these episodes they aired as one movie, the first 2 episodes. It's a 2-hour pilot. They put it in the theaters. It comes out, I think, September 29th, so on ABC. We were all going to get a chance to watch it, but they were hoping to draw the Marvel faithful, and at least some people who were excited about it. But word of mouth on this was so bad that literally nobody showed up. I mean, the fact that a Marvel property released in a theater only made $1.5 million is just, honestly, it's kind of embarrassing. I am really surprised that Disney greenlit this idea. Just because their MCU is so strong, you don't want to taint that property with a gigantic bomb, especially in the theaters. A bomb on TV is one thing. When you put it in the theaters, you're signaling to people, hey, this is also part of the bigger MCU, part of the movie universe. And, yeah. Anyway, rumor is that Disney and ABC, well, Disney, ABC, and Marvel are all kind of button heads over the Inhumans, and there's a lot of unhappy people. Right now, Inhumans currently sits at 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, and there is yet to be a single person that I have found that says, oh, no, it's actually a lot of fun. Don't listen to people. It's actually pretty good. In fact, most of the reviews have been, do not pay for this, and do not watch it when it comes out for free on TV. There is some hope. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was not great when it first came out, and eventually that series became amazing. There's some people who are kind of holding out hope that the Inhumans could do the same. I'm not one of them. Now, I'm still going to watch it because it's a comic book show, and I watch them all, but, yeah. This does not sound good. I would love to hear from anybody who's went to the theater and saw this. I will take any review. I will read it on air. I don't care. I'm just dying to hear what anybody has to say. We will do a full review on this show when it gets released the week of, but I feel like it's not going to be a very good review. Well, it'll be a good review. I just feel like we're not going to give the Inhumans a good review. I don't know. Who am I kidding? It'll probably be a terrible review. I mean, me and Ryan are professionals. Super professional. All right. He's so professional, he doesn't even show up. Thanks a lot, Ryan. You know, more on that in the Faithful 50. We got a lot of questions about Ryan and his tardiness and his lack of caring, apparently, and dedication to the show. So we're going to talk more about Ryan later in the episode. Let's see here what else we got here. Moving on from Disney things, because it seems like Disney is just running the world. With, have you guys seen the new trailers for, I'm going to sidetrack here for a second. The new trailers for Planet Hulk, a.k.a. Thor Ragnarok. I've stayed away from all the trailers, but I was watching the football game tonight, and one came on, and oh my god, I turned away, but I watched for like 10 seconds. It's going to be so great. I cannot wait for Thor Ragnarok. Anyway, moving on. Okay, moving on to the other comic book universe. It looks like WB and DC is eyeing John Cena possibly to play Shazam. Now, Shazam apparently is going to have two actors, because anybody who's familiar with the property knows that Billy Batson is a child. He gets the mystical powers of Shazam from the wizard Shazam. Whenever he says Shazam, he turns from a boy to the superhero that we all see with the big rippling muscles and the little weird cape thing. I don't know. And a lightning bolt. So my guess is that John Cena will be playing Shazam and not Billy Batson. But who knows? Let's see here. Also, apparently Warner Brothers is eyeballing another actor to play in another one of their properties. Well, duh. I guess you couldn't. If you weren't eyeballing some actor to play in your movie, you wouldn't be doing your job. I don't know, what am I saying? The Joker, the Joker origin movie, is apparently Warner Brothers is looking for Leonardo DiCaprio to play Joker in that movie, which immediately gets me excited. This is the Martin Scorsese movie, not the Jared Leto one, obviously, I guess. But this is the one we talked about, I believe, last week or the week before, where they were going to do their own origin, kind of a grounded, gritty, I don't know, Martin Scorsese style origin story of the Joker. Wasn't too keen on it, but I'll tell you right now, if they can get Leonardo DiCaprio on board, that dude is a hell of an actor, and he'd probably make one hell of a Joker, so sign me up. Let's see here. Also, Suicide 2 finally has a director, again, for like the third time. Gavin O'Connor, who just recently did The Accountant with Ben Affleck, and The Accountant 2 has been tapped to direct this movie. No word if he's going to also write it, but I don't know. Whatever. We'll see if he sticks around. I like The Accountant. I thought it was a good movie. Doesn't really do anything either way for Suicide Squad. I also like David Ayer, and Suicide Squad wasn't great, so whatever. We'll see. I'll go see it, because, like I said, comic books, I'm in. Let's see, moving on to another comic book universe. The one that I've pretty much trashed up and down forever is Fox and their mutant universe. But apparently they have done something right. So first they gave us Deadpool. I'll give them credit for that one. Ryan Reynolds, amazing. Deadpool, fantastic. But it looks like Fox has done another thing that makes me happy. They have tapped Drew Goddard to write and direct the X-Force movie, which is going to be a rated R movie that basically stars Deadpool and Cable and their mutant team of basically assassins who kill people, and it's going to be violent and awesome. If you don't know who Drew Goddard is, he's the guy behind, he wrote the original Daredevil for Netflix, which is the first season is the best show on Netflix, period. And he also wrote and directed one of my favorite movies, horror movies, Cabin in the Woods with Joss Whedon. If you have not seen Cabin in the Woods, came out in 2012, check it out. It's got Thor in it and a bunch of people. It's kind of one of those sci-fi horror genre mashups, and it's really, really good. But I'm really excited. Drew Goddard's a great director and or a great writer and a pretty good director. So I think this is a step in the right direction for Fox. Now, if only they could do something good with the rest of their X-Men property, I'd be really happy. All right, let's see what else we got here. Last couple things we got for you guys. So this is it's a good time to be Stephen King right now. Currently, you had the show The Mist, which I watched. Not very good, but we'll skip that. It is about to hit theaters. Actually, it's right now screening, and apparently early reviews are that it's fantastic, and it's set to break all kinds of records. And Netflix is doing another one of his books called Gerald's Game, and they just released the first trailer. It comes out, I think, the end of this month, next month. Check out the trailer. It's on our Facebook page. It looks creepy as a hell. I've never actually read this book from Stephen King. I've heard about it, but I watched the trailer, and just watching the 2 minutes creeps me out. The movie is going to be terrifying. Check it out. Let me know what you think. And also, I want to know, anybody who's seen it, I want your review or at least your input on how it was. I really want to go see it. I have not had a chance to go see it yet. Obviously, because it just came out today, but I do not think I'll have a chance to go see it in the next couple weeks. I'm super busy, but I want to see it, so I want to hear what you guys think about it, and if it's as good as the critics say, let me know. And lastly, last little news we got for you guys is apparently Mario is no longer an active plumber in the Nintendo world. On the Nintendo's Japanese website, they listed Mario's biography as all the things that he did. He plays sports, and he races go-karts, and he saves princesses, and he also used to be a plumber in the past tense. So apparently Mario has hung up his plunger and he's gone into the mushroom game full time. So sorry everybody who wanted to get your pipes fixed by Mario. It's not going to happen anymore. His brother Luigi's probably still actively plumbing. That guy doesn't have much going on. Kind of a loser. Whatever, he never gets any of the princesses. Him and Yoshi are probably hanging out playing catch or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, that's all the news we got for you guys. If you guys have anything to add to anything that I've said tonight, feel free, as always, to comment. And let me know. If I missed something, sorry. I'm sure it's on the internet somewhere. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys got anything to add, we're always open to have conversations with you guys. Moving on to the Faithful 50. Once again, I put out there, well, actually Ryan did do something this week, apparently. He put out a post letting everybody know that I'm sad and lonely because I have to do the show by myself, which is none of those things is true, except for, I guess, the one thing where I am doing the show by myself. But anyway, he put out a post, and you guys responded as usual. Thank you for that. So I'm going to have a little fun with some questions. I got a lot of them. Starting off, here we go. From the Faithful 50. First up, Faithful 50 member Brian. You know what, Brian? We never quite give you the credit you deserve. We always give out gold stars. People come back. They leave for a while. They come with good questions. They do all this stuff, and we're giving out. You know what, Brian? You are every single week you come with a good question. So I'm going to give you the Old Faithful Medal of Accomplishment and Endurance. That is for you, Brian, because you rock. Every week you come with a good question and you never forget. So, you know what? You don't get the credit you always deserve on the show, so I'm giving it to you now. You know why you don't get it? Because Ryan always tells me, don't give it to Brian. People with the name Brian are stupid. What does he know? He's out of here. Ryan, this is the Cut the Fat episode, remember? And guess who the fat is? I'm not going to say it's you, but it's you. Anyway. Brian, thanks, like I said. What'd I give you? The Superstar Medal of Endurance of Coming Backness? I don't know, whatever. Anyway, your question is, why are studios having such issues lately with keeping directors on board throughout the entire process? Well, I'm guessing you're referring to the Colin Trevorrow story that we had earlier today. There have been, whether it's here, I know DC, the DCEU, has had a lot of directors leave their projects. Flash, notably, I think has gone through 3 different directors, and they're still looking for a director. The reason why I think a lot of times projects lately have a hard time keeping their directors is because I think directors have been increasingly becoming more and more, they want to control their product, right? So they want to have final say on the script and the actors, and they want to be able to make something that goes along with the vision that they have, right? And more of these studios are bringing in visionary directors, especially places like comic book movies. They want to bring in the best talent they can bring in. They don't just want to bring in somebody who's just do what tells them what they tell them to do, and then make, subpar. They want people to bring their talent and make a great movie, but at the same time, tell them what to do. So I think that's where some of the friction comes down to. Whenever you bring in a visionary who's got a focus, an idea of what they want, and you step in and say, that's not what we want, it can be hard to make that work. And I think sometimes successfully they make it work. Like Rian Johnson's kind of a visionary guy, and to all accords, him and Disney were on the same page right from the get-go, and he's been able to do it. J.J. Abrams, kind of the same thing. I mean, they gave him a lot of flexibility, but they also worked with him. They went through a couple of screenwriters, but he was flexible in what he wanted to work with what Disney wanted, so I think they worked. I think in the case of some of these other movies, like Lord and Miller with the Han Solo movie, those guys they wanted to make a Han Solo comedy, and that's not what Disney wanted. So I think sometimes what starts out as a good idea eventually turns into, that's not what our vision is. We need you to change it, and if you're not, you need to go. And I think that's kind of where the headbutting. Plus, there's, it comes into sometimes, like in the terms of Zack Snyder, Warner Brothers, he came with a vision. They thought it was great. It wasn't well received by a lot of people. And he's already kind of committed to this, and maybe Warner Brothers wanted to go in a different direction. So I think that's where you see some of the, Zack Snyder's still technically on board with the DCEU, but there's definitely been some friction there and some headbutting that you can tell is behind the scenes. So I think more than anything, that's what happens. Just different visions, and you get a lot of stubborn people who are creative and they all want control. This is kind of what happens. But unfortunately, when you're Star Wars or you're Marvel or you're DC and you're building a universe, you have to have all these pieces that are their own thing, but they also have to fit into the larger puzzle. You can't always have it happen. I mean, Edgar Wright, like I was talking about earlier, had to leave Ant-Man because his vision didn't fit into the larger MCU. And these things happen. So if we're going to weave these tapestries of films that we enjoy, where we got these monster universes that are awesome, unfortunately, this is one of the side effects we have to deal with sometimes, is some of the best directors, most creative people will not won't always work out. Now, that being said, we got Ryan Coogler doing Black Panther, and that movie looks amazing, and it looks different than anything we've seen at Marvel. Taika Waititi is doing, I think I said his name right, is doing Thor Ragnarok, and that one looks different than anything we've seen. So I don't think there's room for creative people to flex their creative muscles, but they have to be able to be flexible enough to fit within the larger plan of these shared universes. So that is a long-winded way of saying creative differences, Brian. All right, moving on. Thank you for your question. Next up, we have, we have a question from Ryan Thomason, and I don't think he realizes when he puts his question, it has his name on here, but we'll read it anyway. It says, my name is Brian Bomelson. Yes, I'm judging you, Ryan. And I would like to know why you continue to try doing solo shows when you clearly need the assistance of that guy, Ryan, who is probably the best co-host of all time. I probably shouldn't even give this a response. It doesn't deserve one, but I'm going to give you a response. Why do I continue to do solo shows, Brian, is because, unlike my co-host Ryan, that guy that you love so much, I'm committed to making sure that everybody in the Faithful 50 and beyond have the information that they need to know. We have committed to doing a weekly show, and goddammit, I'm going to show up every week, even if my slacker co-host is just gone, right? I mean, well, except 4 weeks a year when I'm on vacation. Do not take that away from me, people. I need those. But I'm committed to doing the show, and I want to make sure that people get the things that they need to know, right? And I'm committed to you guys because I know every week you guys are just waiting. Thursday night, you're just like reloading. When's it up? And when it is, it's like Christmas every Thursday night or Friday morning. And that's why I continue the show, even when Ryan doesn't show up and I do it solo. Plus, I'm completely practicing for my solo career that I'm going to be launching sooner than later, probably, especially if my co-host keeps not showing up. We'll see. Anyway, moving on. We got another, we got a question from Deaf, Blind, and Running. I wonder if that is also from Ryan, who I believe has a side Facebook page called Deaf, Blind, and Running. Anyway, Deaf, Blind, and Running wants to know, hi, my question for Brian is, who is his favorite co-host? I'm sensing a theme here, but you know what? I'm going to answer that question as well, because that's the kind of guy I am. My favorite co-host of all time is Ryan. Yes, Ryan has been there for me through thick and thin. He's been here every show. He never judges. He's always there if I need him. He's the very silent but strong type. And I don't think I could do this without him. So I'd like to give a quick shout out to Ryan, my favorite co-host. This guy right here, Ryan. He's been with me on every solo episode. He doesn't call in sick. He doesn't say like, oh, I don't have the internet. His lightsaber does break occasionally. Who needs a double anyway? That's just overkill. You're just overcompensating Ryan. We've heard that about Ryans. They really like to overcompensate for things. Anyway, there you go. Deaf, Blind, and Running. Thank you very much for your question. Ryan right here is my favorite. This one is my favorite co-host of all time. He's the best, and I love him. Moving on. Watch, Play, Read, who I used to work for, kind of. I didn't even know they were still around. Maybe they are. Hey, we at Watch, Play, Read want to know, what is it like to do a solo show when deep down inside you are just hoping that your co-host can join you? You know what? I started working at Watch, Play, Read because of Ryan. So I'm guessing this is once again Ryan asking a question. What's it like? It's kind of liberating. It's free. I can say whatever I want to. I'm not drugged down by the weight of my co-host's lack of talent. I mean, so it's great. I mean, it's very nice to be able to sit here and not have to answer to anyone but myself. And this Ryan, because he's the best. All right, thanks Watch, Play, Read for your question here. Pod Hell Media. Another thing that Ryan's attached to. Wonder if this is him. Let's see here. Do you enjoy being alone? No, I'm a human. I love companionship. That's why I got married. That's why I have kids, because I love hanging out with my kids. That's why I have friends, Ryan. But if you're referring to, do I enjoy being a podcaster alone? Yeah, it's very liberating. It's very nice. It's like going commando. I think I just stumbled on the episode's name. Brian West, Going Commando. Yeah, it's like going commando. It's free, it's liberating, and boom. You don't have to answer to nobody. I don't think that has anything to do with Commando, but you know what? Whatever. Just go with it. All right, next up, Faithful 50 member Philip. I know this isn't Ryan. He wants to know, with the current direction that Marvel movies are moving forward in, i.e. Galactic, who do I have more faith in to lead Marvel for the future, the Russo brothers or James Gunn? I know where this is going because James Gunn obviously did a fantastic job with Guardians of the Galaxy, but man, I like the Russo brothers movies more than I like Guardians of the Galaxy. I know a lot of people think that's sacrilege, but I'm sorry, man. Winter Soldier is my favorite movie, so I'm going to say, and I saw that trailer for Avengers 4, or Avengers, I can't even speak, Avengers, the Infinity War, and it was freaking amazing. So I don't think you'd be asking me this if you'd seen the trailer. I'm going to say the Russo brothers. But either or, I think it's like, do you want to eat chocolate cake or ice cream? They're both amazing, so whatever. Wild West Adventures. Hey, I know that. My name's Brian West. What has anything to do with me? Hey, love the show, but we have one question. Why do we even need a co-host? You clearly have all the talent, and Ryan is obviously riding on your coattails to glory. Just wondering, stay awesome, have a great show tonight. Wow, that question hit the nail right on the head. You know what? I'm going to answer that. I don't need a co-host. All I need is myself. In this world of sin is me and my Star Wars friend. There we go. That's it. Thank you, Wild West Adventures, for your question. Appreciate it. Jeff. Faithful member Jeff wants to know. He wants to know, hey, Brian, why does your co-host hate America? Why does your co-host hate America? You know, Jeff, that is a great question. I don't know. Well, it could have something to do with his Russian descent. I know he spent a lot of time in a gulag. And he's also Danish. So he sits around eating pastries, judging people. You know, we like freedom and we like being awesome. And Ryan hates all those things. So that's probably why he hates America. But thanks for the question. Jeff also wants to know, what toy that my kids play with do I secretly wish they made for adults? His is bounce houses. Well, Jeff, bounce houses are amazing and super fun. And they actually do make those for adults. They have places around here that I take my kids for like birthdays that adults can go in the bounce house with the kids. Now, I've done that. I do not recommend it at our age because like when you jump and your back like doesn't want to go that way and it hurt. I can't get in the bounce house anymore. My hammies almost blew off. My spine almost shot out of my back. Pretty old for bounce houses, but if that's your thing, you want to do that and, test fate, go right ahead. They have them all over the place. A place called Bounce It Up. They're pretty cool. And what do I wish? So I wish if you go to a water park, you ever walk by the kids area and like they have the baddest ass like forts, like these giant water forts, and they have like water dumping and little water guns that don't have a lot of pressure, and they have like small slides, but they're all over the place, and kids are just like, this is the best. I want one of those, but for adults. I want the water guns to be like 100 PSI. I think that's I don't know. That's probably too much. I'll probably take somebody's face off. I'm going to say like 20 PSI. So just enough to really knock somebody off one of these, one of these rope walkways and right into the pond, like the water underneath. I want like a whole bunch of slides, but I want it totally unsupervised. So it's just chaos, right? Every man fend for themselves. You have separate forts, right? You have one fort on each side, and then that's where you put the 100 PSI cannon, and it just turns into like capture the flag and King of the Hill. That would be amazing. Probably have a lot of deaths and injuries. You probably sign a waiver, but I think that'd be pretty cool, personally. That's just me. All right, thanks for your questions, Jeff. David wants to know. David from Washington would like to know. It's football season. He's very excited. So am I. He wants to know 3 things that we will be talking about Monday morning after week 1 of the NFL. So the first one's obviously going to be that the Seahawks are going to go to the Super Bowl because they're the best, and everybody's going to find out when we beat the crap out of the crappy Green Bay Packers. And see, that's number 1. Number 2 is going to be, there's going to be some team that loses that everybody thought was going to be good, and we're going to all talk about, you know what, actually, I'm going to reprise that one. There's going to be 16 teams that are all Super Bowl bound and 16 teams that should just rip it down to the studs and start over again because we are all a bunch of overreactors, and week 1 really doesn't tell you much of anything because it's week 1. That will be the story. Number 2 is the overreaction of 16 of all 32 teams, 16 of which are all going to go to the Super Bowl, and 16 of which are all just, worthless and they suck and they should never play football again. And 3, we're going to be talking about some major injury that is going to just be devastating to half of America's fantasy team and to one team in particular. Hopefully it's not my beloved team, but I'm sure that's going to happen, and it'll suck because it's the NFL, and that's always what happens. So that's what I think is going to happen. So thank you, everybody, for your questions. And, Brian, Ryan, Phil, Jeff, David, you guys are all awesome. And Ryan, clearly you wish you could be on the show, and you want me to say one thing, that I miss you, and you're not going to get that from me. All right, fine. I miss you, Ryan. I'm looking forward to you being back on the show next week, hopefully. Unless you guys think that I'm better solo. Because I think this week has been better than last week, and I'm going to continue to get better every week. And pretty soon, Ryan's it's going to be cut the fat every week. But I am looking forward to you coming back, Ryan, you big baby. God, if you wanted me to say I want you on the show, you didn't need to put like 9 questions up to try and get me to say it. All right. Thanks to Ryan, my special co-host, who's always there for me, unlike the other Ryan, who's not. Loser. All right, lastly but not least, I would like to give you guys my recommendation, my weekly recommendation, what you should or shouldn't be wasting your time doing. Something I'm wasting a whole shit ton of my time doing right now is playing Destiny 2 on my Xbox 360/1. I don't know, the newest fucking Xbox, whatever which one that one is. I'm playing it with Destiny 2. It is great. It builds upon how much fun Destiny 1 was, but it got rid of a lot of the slog of constantly trying to farm materials you needed to make guns. They just give you lots of guns. You can naturally upgrade them, which is so much better than the way they had it before. The graphics are better. The gameplay is better. The story is better. Pretty much if you liked Destiny 1 at all, Destiny 2 has streamlined it and improved the entire game. I highly recommend you get it. I'm sure I'll be wasting another couple hundred hours playing it. So Destiny 2 available now on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Get it. And if you're on Xbox One or 360 or Xbox Zero, whatever that is, you can find me, Jedi Killer 153. Hit me up and we can play Destiny together. Anyway, that is about all the time we got. Next week, Ryan should be back. So hopefully you guys get to see his beautiful smiling face. But I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for the last couple weeks, and no one said anything too mean to me, so I appreciate that as well. But if you guys would like to hook up with us more or directly contact us, you can find us, as always, on our Facebook page at Geek Dad Report. You can find us on Twitter at Geek Dad Report. You can find me on Twitter at BrianWest53. You can find Ryan on Twitter at Big Bruiser. You can find us on the interwebs at podhell.com. Also coming soon, geekdadreport.com. It is up, but it's not. We don't have anything on it yet. But if you'd like to go check it out, and we have a really nice picture of a fern there. It's pretty cool. You can find us on iTunes. Please subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating or a 4-star rating, but probably a 5-star rating. Unless you really hate us, then I just think you should direct message me and tell me that. But anyway, we would love for you guys to subscribe and leave us reviews. We're not on Stitcher yet, hopefully soon, or Google Play, hopefully also soon, but you can find us on iTunes, and of course, as always, you can find us on YouTube at Geek Dad Report. So check us out, subscribe, like, share. And as always, thanks for being awesome, you guys. We'll see you next week, and Ryan will be back. So I am going to leave now and go record our NFL special that we're going to do every week called the Geek Dad Report versus the NFL. Hopefully I'll make it a quick segment, something a little bonus that we want to do for you guys because we love the NFL, because me and Ryan are huge football fans, and it's going to be a little weekly thing where we talk about the game. So look forward to check out that. Also, our season finale of our Game of Thrones reviews is going to be happening next week. Sorry we had to put it off for a couple weeks, but Ryan didn't have internet, so we postponed it. I didn't want to do that by myself. We did it all season together, and we wanted to finish it together. So our prediction show and Season 7 recap will be next week. Check that out as well. But until next week, guys, stay awesome. See you guys around. Later.